Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone. I can't tell you how delighted I am to see everyone here this evening. Folks, we have got a full house and the group is growing. I'm real excited that the new folks here have found me. Welcome. And I'm excited to see so many people who've been following me now for years, some of you, still with me, still returning. You have my eternal love and joy that you're still enjoying the work that I'm doing here online in my psychic hours that meet monthly and are always free. I have some announcements to make as we get started this evening. And it's by all means not going to be a complete list because, frankly, there's just so much going on. Um, some of you who came in a little bit early saw me already updating some of the announcements I had on this page as you came in, and there are still more updates, but you'll be able to find them yourself because I'll be directing you to where to go. First thing I want to make mention of, and these are things I like to do at the beginning of each session. I think of them as kind of housekeeping things. If you don't have my app, please go ahead and download it onto your mobile device, whether you have a smartphone, iPad, because it'll make listening to these webinars and listening to any classes you purchase on my website so much easier. So my app is available now, and this location right here where you see my cursor is where you can find it and download it. Now, I wanted to make a note that this tarot special was supposed to end when October began. And for you folks who are here this evening, I am still continuing it. I don't know if you're going to be able to get the discount when you put that code in online. So if you do want that beginner's tarot class and you don't see the special code come up, then just contact Lisa directly. Her email is Lisa, S-A-Inc. at email dot or at AOL, not an email, at AOL.com. So that's Lisa, S-A Inc. at AOL.com. And she'll be able to invoice you directly. So you'll still be able to get the discount on the tarot class. And that'll be for you guys right up through the end of October. And don't forget that I have 2 more tarot Q&As coming up this October. They're going to be on Thursday evenings. The first one is this coming Thursday, and I'm sorry I don't, well, maybe I can just quick check the date on that. This coming Thursday is the 15th. It'll be at 5 p.m., which is really good for some of the people who are, viewing this, who are coming from England and Spain and Europe, because that's kind of a little bit difficult for them to show up here when I do the later classes. So tried to make that one earlier for you so you can join in. And of course, anybody else who wants to come in at 5 p.m. Eastern time, you are more than welcome to if you are signed up for the class. And we also have a tarot Q&A on the 22nd, and that one is going to be back to our normal 7 p.m. And so on Thursday nights, we have 2 tarot Q&As coming up this month, and these classes are turning out to be absolutely wonderful. So if you have, and I'm just making this broad announcement because there are so many of you who have studied tarot, especially with me over the years. If you've taken my classes all the way back when I was teaching them via cassettes, sending them out, or if you've taken them in person with me, if you've studied them via my book, if you have studied them in my VIP area, if you've studied them in my videos that I now have on my website. So no matter how you've studied them, if you've gone through the level 1 tarot, which basically teaches you the basic meanings of the cards, you're welcome to join in this class. It was actually 3 sessions total at an unheard of price. It's a really super discounted price. It's only $60 for all 3 sessions. But since there are only 2 sessions left, if you join in now, it would only be $40. So, and you'd have to contact Lisa again, Lisa, S-A Inc. at AOL.com, and she would invoice you directly for that amount. Those Q&As are wonderful. They're for anyone who's studying the tarot or has studied it. And the only thing I ask is that you have a basic understanding of the simple Celtic cross spread, and that you also have knowledge, not be a super reader, otherwise you don't need that class, right? But that you have knowledge of basic knowledge of what the cards mean. So I'm not going to be teaching card meanings in that Q&A. I'm going to be asking you or answering your questions about the cards, how they work. We're going to be putting spreads out and interpreting them, and it's a wonderful way to learn to read the cards. It's actual practice. So maybe I should actually say practice sessions, not just a Q&A. At any rate, if you're on here and you're studying the tarot with me or have at any time in the past studied it, you're welcome to join in for that class. And as I said, the price is absolutely amazing for what I'm doing with you in that class. So my next announcement is that my VIPs, please make a note. I know there are a lot of you on here because I was looking at the names as we got started. The next Q&A for VIPs is October 22nd. Please make a note of it. That's a Thursday night also, and that class is 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, I want all of you to make a note that our next psychic hour, this is really big, really big. Our next psychic hour is going to be November 1st of 2020. So put that on your calendar. If you haven't registered for it already, please go online and register. I'm pretty sure that class is going to fill up. So register, and just in case we have an overfill, make sure you get there early that night. There are two big reasons why the next psychic hour is so important. One, of course, that everybody knows is because it's a couple of days before the November election here in the United States. And so there's probably going to be some coloring with questions coming up about the election that night. But also, more importantly, the day before is Halloween. Okay, so we are one day off of All Saints' Day, which is when the veil between the worlds is the absolute thinnest of any time during the entire year. So please do show up, be here early for our psychic hour on November 1st, because you're going to really have some interesting fireworks that night. Things should be so crystal clear. Everybody here should feel and see and hear everything. And it's also not going to be a surprise if some of your deceased loved ones come through and give messages. And now I'm not, as you all know, I'm a channel. I don't book myself out as a medium. But actually, I think on Halloween, on All Saints' Day, Samhain, as the old ones called it, I think everybody becomes a medium. So we're going to have a blast. Now, you'll also notice that on the other side of the, where I just moved my cursor to, of this map, this chart, where I'm announcing the 2021 Psychic Cruise, folks, and this I'm going to ask your help with. I'm rethinking this. Okay, cruise lines are mostly shut down because of COVID-19 right up until the end of the year, or at least until after the major election here in the U.S. I'm expecting that they're going to be opening up gradually, starting right after the election, and gradually moving on to open more and more and more cruise lines. Now, our cruise, I'm pretty sure, I've got to tell you, my guides have told me that ship is going to sail. Okay, so we will be on the water. But what I'm feeling is let's call it a tremor in the airwaves. I feel like a lot of our past cruisers are very hesitant to get out there on a cruise line when they really have been shut down for so long, and nobody really knows what the new rules are going to be and whether they're going to be comfortable and will all the ports be open, and i.e. It's not the cruise lines I'm concerned about. It's actually all the people who would be on the cruise. We're having a very late registration for that, unusual for us. And there is the writing on the wall, right, that says maybe we should be paying attention not just to, is the cruise sailing, would we have a good time, but are people on my cruisers going to be comfortable on that cruise? So I'm rethinking it, but I have not canceled it yet, but I'm thinking of doing that and rescheduling it maybe for the following year and inserting maybe a land-based get-together. And we'll talk about that later. I would like your feelings on this. I'd love for you to help me make the decision here on whether we should be brave and go ahead and host our 2021 Psychic Cruise and lead the way into our new COVID-free world, or whether we should step back and wait that year and go on that cruise. We can do the same cruise the following year, still go to Rose Hall, still have all the wonderful events we're going to have, and just do it when people are more comfortable with it. So when we're done with this video, if you would take a moment when I post the video, and you're all going to get a copy of it and you're going to be told where it's located on YouTube, if you would go in right into YouTube, or even respond directly to me and let me know, how do you feel about it? Should we continue this cruise or should we delay it? Okay, and I'm going to let you guys take the vote. Okay, now, skipping again, my reading special for October is about vampires in your life. And I'm going to do something I haven't done before. I have a Dark Forces webinar. It's my most popular webinar in my Evolution of Consciousness series, and it's not available for sale on its own. It's only available in that series if you purchase it. That series is $49. So, it's not a lot of money, but it is, it's an expense. And I'm giving you the Dark Forces webinar out of that series as a gift if you purchase the reading special, Vampires in Your Life. Now, why am I doing that in October? It's in celebration of Halloween. Because, believe me, if you have vampires in your life, whether it's your friends, whether it's your coworkers, whether it's the news channels or the government, or whoever or whatever it is, maybe it's your job, we are going to be able to pinpoint what is stealing your energy. Maybe it's even somebody who's invisible on the other side. We're going to be able to pinpoint who and what's taking your energy, and we're going to be able to tell you, my guides and I, how you can change that pattern, eliminate that draw on your life force energy, shut it down forever, and take that energy and use it for something different that's really going to enhance your life. So this is a really super duper reading special, and it comes with that Dark Forces webinar, which is all about vampires and what to do about them. So it really is a marriage between these two things, the reading and the webinar. I also am offering a lot of other specials this month, and so if you haven't received my newsletter, please go onto my website. That's www. It's right up here on the right, sandyanastasi.com, because right on that front page, you're going to be able to read all these things. And under monthly specials, I've got 4 different specials listed. 3 of them I've mentioned here, the tarot and also the reading special. The 4th one has to do with my psychic development class. I did not post it here, but folks, please be aware that my psychic development class is going to be running. It's once a year it runs. It's a 5-month-long class, and it's going to begin on January 27th. So if you are one of those people who wants to be able to develop your own psychic skills, abilities, whether you want to use them professionally, whether you just want to use them to help your own life, to enhance your skills in whatever your chosen field is, or to help members of your family or friends, well, get started in January. Don't wait. It's January 27th it begins. And I also am just releasing, now this is out of the box, nobody knows about this yet, just about to release a new program on my website that's called Psychic Development Tips. It's a series of tips that are based around my Psychic Development Level 1 course, and they're going to be dripped out to you over the course of 6 months. So if you are registering for that class, or even if you're not, those psychic development tips are really going to be a tremendous help because they're going to get you to practice little tips that'll help to develop your abilities. And certainly if you want to develop your abilities and can't take that class right now, you need to get the development tips, because that'll get you started even on your own. Now, last but not least, my VIPs, please remember that we're in the last couple of months here to be able to get your discount on the VIP page. And this is for everyone. Again, if you love studying metaphysics, if you want to study everything from on cassette, or not cassette, but MP3 audio, if you want to study via audio, classes that I taught from 1983 all the way up through 2000, there's that many classes, huge amount of classes in numerology, in psychic healing, in tarot, and psychic development. I mean, it goes on and on and on. If you are interested in studying those things via audio and meeting with me once a month to discuss your classes, your experience, then you want to join this. It's only $97 a year or $10 a month. And if you join now, you get grandfathered in for that price forever. It just rolls over and charges you every year until you stop it. And I'm having this membership drive right now. And for people who are already a VIP, if you get a friend to sign up, tell that friend to contact me, because both you and the friend are going to get a free gift. It'll be a webinar that you haven't got before that I can award you with. And Lisa, of course, is going to be the one who sends that to you. So if you if you are a member and you want to get that gift, get a friend to sign up, and you and the friend will both get a gift. Okay, that's it. I promise I'm done telling you about all my stuff. I'm excited. There's so much going on right now. So tonight we have a very big night ahead of us. Important stuff going on, and I can feel the tingling in the air. I'm sure that you folks can too. Everybody is kind of on the edge of their seats, and believe it or not, that really makes for a really delightful, energetic psychic hour. Here are the basic rules. If you're in the, if you see in your list in your name, next to your name, where there's a little hand, if you want to ask a question, raise your hand. My assistant Lisa is in the chat room, and she's also in charge of calling on you. So if you want to ask a question, raise that hand. Lisa will know to call on you. If you're shy and you don't want to ask it verbally, well, then write the question into the chat room, and Lisa will be answering your questions while I'm speaking in writing in the chat room. So we can work both ways. Now, when you are called on, I would like first for you to tell me your first name, not last name, because this is published on YouTube. So first name only. Where you're from, that's always a delight to find out who's calling from where, because we do get people from all over the planet. And I would also like to know what your sun sign is. So first, those three things: your name, where you're from, and your sun sign. And then I'm going to say a few things about your sun sign, and then I want your question, your specific question. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to answer everybody's question here tonight. So if I don't get to your question and you stay to the end, I'm inviting you anytime within the next 24 hours until 9 p.m. tomorrow evening. If you're here in person and stay till the end, you feel free to ask me one question and give me a little bit of time, because I have a lot of people to answer, but I do promise I will get back to you. Your question will get answered. Okay, and you can either ask that question directly on this site, or you can email it to Lisa at lisasainc@aol.com. Okay, we're going to get started. Lisa, who is our first victim?
Yeah, first person tonight is going to be Alice. Alice, can you unmute yourself?
Hello.
Hey there, Alice.
I can't believe I'm the first victim.
And see, maybe it's because your name begins with A.
I like it.
Yep, me.
So, I am calling from Colorado, and my sun sign is a Cancer. And I was calling because you kind of said something that reminded me of something my daughter and I were trying to figure out. We were just sitting around in the living room, and a glass in the kitchen shattered, and then another glass shattered, and nobody was around, nobody was doing anything. And so we kind of were Googling it and stuff, and some of the stuff that we came up with said it could have to do with the veil right now is so thin between, both worlds kind of. And so I was wondering, do my guides have anything they're trying to say? Are we right? Are we close?
I'm going to answer your question first because I know you've now piqued everyone's interest, and then I'm going to go back and address what's going on for Cancer. Okay?
Okay.
First off, and this gives you a little insight, by the way, into how I teach. I'm very practical and pragmatic and down to earth. So the first thing that I do is I believe it's important to X out in a situation like that all of the possible physical plane things that could be going on. Okay.
Right.
I mean, was there a tremor? Was, Colorado could have that. Was there a supersonic burst from a plane that maybe your ear couldn't hear, but like a dog or cat's might, that could have caused that? So there, I would do what you did, go on the internet and research, was anything going on at that time that produced a vibration that could have had that effect? Okay, that's number Number two, once we've X'd out all the physical possibilities, nobody was standing near those glasses, typically shaking it to make an impression on mom. Okay. So the next thing we do after that is we make the assumption that that event probably, had to be actually caused by one of you in that room who unconsciously is what I call a kinetic medium.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm not sure if you folks know what kinetic mediumship is, but here's it in a nutshell. A kinetic medium is someone who has the capability of moving things with their mind. Lisa, I'm going to ask you to mute her mic because the squeaks are a little bit disturbing here. Our two mics are having a disagreement there. Okay, so kinetic mediumship is when somebody is able to move something with their mind, with their actual energy. I see it as an aura energy that extends from the hands. And I've actually, myself, I can do it a little bit, but I've known a lot of people in my sphere that literally can drag something along just by putting their hands over it, okay, having a powerful energy field. So very likely there's someone in your household, could be you or one of the kids that you were talking with, that actually is unconsciously a kinetic medium. We have to have a kinetic medium in the environment in order for something to move, something to shatter. Oh God, I've heard all kinds of stories, pipes breaking, pianos playing, you name it. If it goes on and it's something that's a physical event, there must be a human, get that, human kinetic medium in the environment for that event to happen. Now, that still doesn't X out the possibility that a spirit or your guide, because your guide could be a person in spirit, right? So it doesn't X out the possibility that was motivated by the ghost, if you will, or person in spirit who utilized the energy of the human who is the kinetic medium, whether conscious or unconscious, to shatter the glass and get your attention. And go ahead and unmute. I want to ask if that makes sense to you.
Definitely it does. And I've heard you talk about that before. And now that I'm thinking about it, I lost my stepmom at the end of August, and I have been almost craving something to happen, so I could, feel that she's around or something. So I almost feel like maybe I'm kind of doing this myself to kind of, have something that I can be like, look what happened. I don't know. It's just kind of something on my mind.
And that's where you really have the difficulty. When somebody comes to me with a story like this and says, Sandy, which is it? I usually go back to them, which is what I'm going to do right now, and say, well, what does your own heart tell you? Did this happen as a result of your emotional outburst? Because emotion, energetically, in a kinetic medium, translates to moving something, okay? Or were you very calm and peaceful and just in a, state that wouldn't attract anything like that, and the glass simply burst? In which case, I would say probably a spirit. But ultimately, it's going to be your inner self that knows the answer to that. Not me, not any other psychic, just you.
Okay, so when it happened, I wasn't thinking about it at all. I mean, my mind wasn't there at the time that it happened. I mean, it has been ever since she passed. Daily I think of her, but
Mm-hmm.
at the time that this happened, no, I wasn't thinking about her or really anything.
And you hadn't been
Related.
going through a period of extreme upset or anything like that. You were just,
No,
yeah.
no.
Because kinetic mediumship will be stimulated by strong emotion. And it'll be stimulated by somebody who's angry or going through anger. It'll be stimulated by a party or a celebration, a social gathering. That will stimulate the kinetic mediumship in a kinetic medium, whether they know they're one or not. Okay. But if none of those things were going on and that happened, you're probably right. That was probably her saying, here I am, especially if you think back to the conversation and were you talking about something where she might have had something she wanted to say about it. That could have been her input.
Ah, I
That,
wish I remember now what we were saying. That would have been so interesting because that would have been cool to.
yeah.
I wish I remember.
Now I did pull a card on it, and the card I pulled is I use a Rider-Waite deck. I'm showing it to you here online. It's the
Uh-huh.
King of Pentacles, and it's right side up. And that shows the card. I'm going to describe it. It shows two people, one of them infirm, walking with a crutch, outside of a church. So there's a feeling of religiousness going on in this card. Was she infirm for a long time before she passed? And did she maybe have a problem with one of her legs or with walking?
So she actually had a stroke, and she survived for about 4 years. Her first stroke was in 2016. While on this last stroke that she had, it was a catastrophic brain bleed, and she was in. She lasted in hospice for about a week, and yeah, they were worried that we had to move her legs and stuff because they were worried that there would be a clot. But I didn't understand that because I thought, she was going to pass anyway. Why are we worried about a clot in her leg? Is that weird?
System works that way. But I want you to take another look at this card. You said she was sick for 4 years after her first stroke. There's the person who can't walk properly, has the crutch. That's her being sick for 4 years. Then she passed from a stroke to her head that didn't kill her immediately. And this figure has a bandage wrapped around its head. Now, I just want to show you how, I work with astrology mostly and cards. When we're doing these psychic hours, I love to work with the chart because it's a horary chart that tells me a little bit about everyone here who is online. But this was a perfect example to show you how incredibly graphically accurate the cards would be. So the card is basically saying, especially because it came up when I asked the question in an upright position, the card is saying, yes, that was her. And it's just to give you, yeah, for real, it's showing you her circumstances on the graphic picture. I love it.
That's amazing. That's so amazing.
And I want you to know I didn't know about her question in advance, folks. But what a great advertisement for my tarot Q&A. Thank you.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Now let's look a little bit about what's going on, not just for Cancer, but for all of the cardinal signs this evening. So if you are a Capricorn, that's up here in the 9th house, a Cancer, which is the right on the cusp between the 2nd and the 3rd. If you're an Aries, which is between the 11th and 12th here. If you're a Libra, where the sun actually is right now, which is in the 6th house in this chart, if you're one of those signs, you're going to want to pay attention to what my guides are saying about what's going on right now. First of all, this connection from Libra to Capricorn to Aries is a T-square. Watch my cursor. Here's the T, right? It goes across, and here's the cross. That crosses the T. Oops, there's the cross. Okay, so let me show it to you again. T, there's the line, the vertical line. My cursor is having trouble drawing a straight line for some reason. And here's the T that crosses it, the handle. Okay, now when you have a T-square, the energy always comes out into the bottom of the T. So guess what? Right now, there's a whole lot going on for anyone who's a Cancer. I just tongue in cheek here. You guys don't know this, but the United States of America was born on the 4th of July, and that's the sign Cancer. So our country in the U.S. is a Cancer country. Look what's going on in the U.S. right now. So if you're a Cancer, if you're a Libra, if you're a Capricorn, if you're a Virgo, you've got a whole lot of stuff going on, okay? Now, based on this chart, if you are a Cancer, most of that stuff is going to be financial, it's going to be social, it's going to be lots and lots of interaction with government, with business, with also, friends and family. So there's a lot of interaction going on. And overall, there's this concern about, okay, finances and getting a handle on them. If you're a Libra, that concern is going to come out in paying attention to health matters. That could be your health matters, other people's health matters, a pet's health matters. And it's also coming out into paying attention to the details of your everyday life. Maybe starting to get a handle on things that you have let get out of control, and you're really getting a handle on them now. If you're a Capricorn, darn, but you're thinking about changing careers, changing jobs. You're thinking about, do I hang in there? Do I deal with the stuff I'm dealing with for the long run and get the most out of it? Capricorns really think about those things. Or do I follow my heart and jump to what I really want to be doing and make that happen as soon as possible? By the way, all of the cardinal signs might be thinking about making a change of job or residence right now. And all of them could be thinking about writing your memoirs or going back to school to finish a degree in something so that you can expand or move into a new field. Okay? Now, if you're an Aries, you're going to be spending a lot of time with friends, but you're also going to be spending a lot of time alone because you've got stuff going on around you that you're reacting to in a way that's getting away from you, and you're saying, oh my, why am I acting like that? What's hitting my buttons? And so you're going to uncharacteristically be doing a lot of soul searching, a lot of looking inward. I want to also suggest if you're an Aries, again, any of the cardinal signs should do this, but especially Aries, record your dreams right now. You're getting extremely important dreams. And you also may be getting precognitive dreams. So real important. Okay, how am I doing?
So good. I am so overwhelmed right now with emotion. I'm so excited that I got to talk to you and kind of get that validation.
Great. And thank you so much for calling in. I'm glad you did too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Lisa, who's next?
All right, our second person tonight is going to be DL. DL, you are self-muted. Can you unmute?
I think I just did. Did I do that?
You did. I can hear you. So,
hi, Sandy.
hi.
I'm your neighbor in Sarasota.
Oh, cool.
I am and also from Queens. So you and I share a lot of history.
Yeah.
I am a Virgo sun sign, and yeah, I'm going to say I'm grateful for my angels, and along the lines of the last caller as well. Today is the anniversary of my grandfather's transition. So I've been thinking a lot about him today.
And you might have been thinking a lot about him because that, knowing that it's his day of passing, you're thinking about him. That's like a bell going off on the other side. And that gets him thinking about you. So there's connection. Okay. And I want to show it to you right here in the chart. I love this. Out of all the planets in the zodiac, the one that deals the most with mediumship, all the planets can deal with death and the other side a little bit, but the one that really talks about mediumship is Neptune. And here's Neptune over here, and that sign is Pisces. I hope you can see my cursor here. That's Neptune, and that's Pisces. And it is 18 degrees, and Venus over here, which is in Virgo, who you loved so dearly. You really loved your grandfather, boy. It's in Virgo, and they're within 10 degrees. They're fairly close, okay, in that opposition. So guess what? There's mediumship going on. So I have no doubt, based on this chart, that you are making a connection to somebody you loved. And I want to make a mention to everybody here. If you are a mutable sign, and this is heavy, so please bear with me right now. If you're a mutable sign, you're a Virgo, you're a Pisces, you're a Gemini, you're a Sag. Right now, not just today, but in this time period, like 2 weeks back, 2 weeks forward, you are making these connections from here to your guides, from here to your higher self, from here to the people that you love most on the other side. Powerful connections. And this is why I say bear with me. Even if you are not a mutable sign, you may very well have your moon or your ascendant in either Virgo, Pisces, Sag, or Gemini. Because this is a mutable sign thing right now that's happening that I want to talk about. The mutable signs are doing a whole lot of looking back. And you'll be doing something that is totally having nothing to do with the person that you're thinking about. And you're ironing or you're gardening, and all of a sudden you're getting a picture of something you did with the past loved one who's passed, or an old place you used to live that you knew them at, and this whole little scenario from the past in a happy way, because Venus is a happy planet. In a happy way, these things are playing out in your mind. Guess what? It's a lot of things. It's number one, it's communication with that person. There's your proof of it. You weren't thinking about it, it just crossed your mind. But there's also a gathering of the past and it being brought into your present. And it's nice because it's the gathering of the good things from the past being brought into the now. And why is this happening? Because as our last caller said, the planet itself is evolving. We are on the precipice of moving solidly into the next plane of our own evolution. And what we're doing is we're gathering up the good stuff, kind of like the squirrel gathering the nuts, right? We're gathering up the good stuff we might need for the future, and we're stepping forward with it. So you're experiencing all of this right now. And so are all of the other mutable signs. And anybody here who's having that experience, and a lot of you are, even if you're not mutable signs, that tells me that your south node, your ascendant, your moon perhaps are in a mutable sign. Okay? Mm-hmm. Did that answer your question?
Yeah. And what is this transition into the next what you had mentioned kind of look like? Everyone has been talking about it.
I've had a lot of people talk to me about that. You know what? This isn't because I'm selling something, but I'm going to sell something. I have an Evolution of Consciousness series. It's video classes. And it's not expensive. It's $49, and I think there is something like 15 or 16 webinars in it. So it's a great price for what you're getting. But there are 2 or 3 webinars in that series that talk about the evolution of the planet, the evolution of you and your higher self, the evolution of meeting your guides. It's about consciousness. And I would suggest that, that's a good place for you to start. You're also obviously doing a lot of studying online, which is wonderful. Many people online talk about us on the precipice of moving. We've been in 3D, the third dimension. They're talking about us moving into the fourth and fifth dimension, so taking a step or 2 up, depending on where you are at, but we'd still go as a group. Now, this doesn't mean we're all dying, and I think that's really what your concern is. For a lot of people, they don't get it, Okay, here's Neptune, here's Venus. Do I really want to do this next evolutionary stuff on planet Earth? I'm going to die? No? No, that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about vibration. The vibration has been, everything has been speeding up. We've all noticed that. And, those people who are resisting the speeding up are turning towards negativity and vulgarity and violence and all the things that you see going on in a lot of places that we don't want to even talk about and bring in here. But those are the people who are on a lower vibration. And I'm not trying to say they're bad people. I just am using them as an example because it's obvious for everybody to see. Okay? And any one of us can easily be pulled down into that lower vibration if we give in to the urge to join that team. You get what I'm talking about, okay?
Mhm.
But those of us who are, whether we're doing it through prayer or meditation or going to church or going to social gatherings with positive, happy people, whether we're connecting with our friends, even if we're in shutdown somewhere, we're on Skype and talking to the people we love, when we're connecting to our loved ones across the veil, especially because that is a higher level, you see, all of these things are taking that vibrational speed and stepping it up, okay?
Mm.
So you're still going to be on planet Earth. There's still going to be dirt under your feet. But what will happen because of that evolutionary step up is that you'll be on the planet that was promised to us, where there will now be 2,500 years or more of peace, prosperity, love, evolution. You see? This is good stuff, okay? Anyway, keep investigating and keep reading and researching what everybody else has to say about it, because there's a lot of really good stuff out there. Okay.
Right.
And thank you for really those wonderful questions. Given that we have this Neptune-Venus opposition in the chart here in the mutable signs, I suspect that what you just asked is on everybody's mind. So I think
Mhm.
really good question for everyone. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And Lisa, who's next?
All right. Our third little victim tonight is going to be Judith. Judith, can you unmute yourself? Hello, Judith. There you
Okay,
go.
can you hear me?
Yes, I certainly can. Well,
I I am from Pennsylvania. My sun sign is a Capricorn, and I am most grateful that my husband got back a negative test today for the virus. So we didn't really think that we thought it was just a cold or like a bad cold, but it's good to get that result back anyway.
yes. And thank you, Judith, for reminding me of something else. I knew I was missing something. Your name, where you're from, your sun sign, what you're grateful for. I forgot to tell everybody to do that. So thank you for remembering. And obviously you've been on my psychic hour before, so thank you for being a return person as well. And
Oh, thank you.
yeah, I did talk about the cardinal signs already. So what's your specific question?
Well, yeah, my question was going to be about a job, but I guess in that respect, it would be I've been looking and it's very hard to find one right now. So
Yeah.
I guess my question now would be with the finances, if it's going to be okay until things pick up and I can find a job.
Well, we have a lot of different things about that. First of all, and this is for everyone here, folks, okay? And I want to use my little astrology chart to show you this. Saturn is your job. There you are. It's in Capricorn. Don't you love it? I love how this plays out. Jupiter is I want to find something. And Jupiter, again in Capricorn, in business, Jupiter says you've got to expand your search. Pluto, which is stuck between the two, Pluto says you are in a controlled situation where you're being kept down. Well, there you have this lockdown. There it is. It's just perfect. So I love when astrology talks to us. And what this says is that in the area that you're in, you said you're in Pennsylvania. I don't know if you're in the city or if you're on the countryside, but in that area, apparently whatever it was that you were doing, there's a lockdown on it. There's control over you. You see, Pluto likes to control things. And the way to get away from this is going to be to expand your search, maybe into something that you haven't done before. Or get yourself an education right now that'll take you in a new direction, perhaps working online, or perhaps working in one of the emergency sectors that are always open, okay? Finding the way to get yourself into a whole different thing that lets you be out, okay? Are you a teacher? Because this would be a great setup for a teacher to be stuck.
No, I'm not a teacher. Actually, I am currently working 2 part-time jobs, and my goal is to find a full-time one, but And
Okay.
it's one of them's in a grocery store, another one's in an auto dealership.
So guess what? You're doing exactly what my guide was saying you should be doing. You've expanded your job search outside of what you used to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a job, you've got two jobs, and here's what you need to be doing is looking at the two jobs and determining, does either one of these jobs have factors in it that I would like to pursue? Because this is the important thing. What this is saying, and I'm seeing this with so many people in our world today, it's both positive and negative. In a negative sense, COVID and the lockdown have really, really, really destroyed people's incomes, their lives, and has put them in a situation where they're either jobless or the job isn't paying what it used to pay or isn't running the way it used to run. So it's like, okay, what am I going to do? That's the bad part. The good part is, wow, there's nothing to get you moving into the field you really belong in, doing the work you're really going to love the most, than a really good kick in the ass. And yes, I did say that. So in a career work sense out there in the world, COVID and this lockdown have been unbelievably motivational. Okay. So what I'm going to suggest is, as you're doing these two jobs, and I know it gets tiring, two jobs is rough to carry. Think about what parts of the jobs you like. Never mind the parts you don't like. What parts do you really like? And then get online. I'd say online because the papers aren't so good at this. And expand your job search into all different types of jobs that have those particular skills that you both have and really enjoy. Does that make sense? And even look at jobs that would be stepping stones to lead into those jobs. Okay? My guides are saying that if you continue doing what you're doing, this good old Five of Pentacles keeps coming up. You're kind of going to be limping along financially for a while. Okay? So this is giving you enough to get by, but not enough to flourish. Okay? However, the first card I pulled for you was this Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups says, I can have everything I want. My cups are totally full and overflowing. Wow, look at that. So I know that there's the potential around you for you to really clean up and move into a new field, which could be attached to one of these two jobs, or might be something totally different. My gut and my guides think it's attached to one of these jobs. For example, you might like one and be good enough at it to move up into administration and start to really pull in money and enjoy what you're doing. The thing is, and I think it might very well, believe it or not, be the food job. Surprise, surprise. So there's potential here if you're willing to open your mind and expand your possibilities beyond what you've been told you're supposed to do. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely, it sure does.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'll go with it, and I think you're going to do really well.
No, thank you.
Welcome. And Lisa, who's next?
All right. Excuse me. My throat's trying to give out tonight. The world is telling me not to talk so much. All righty. Our next person is going to be Ellen. Ellen, there you go.
Hi, thanks.
Hello, Ellen.
Hi, I am from Florida, and I'm most grateful for kind people. Just been seeing or having dealings with a lot of kind people lately, so that's really been helpful, including you, Sandy. So thank you.
And Ellen, hang on a minute. There's a rule in metaphysics: like attracts like. So if you're attracting kind people, what does that say about you?
Aw, that's so nice.
It is.
And I'm a Virgo, and I appreciate how all your answers apply to all of us. So my question is that I also got laid off because of COVID, and I'm unemployed, and I'm having to move. I can't pay my rent, so I'm having to move, and I'm selling all my furniture and all my belongings, and like, what's the good that's coming out of all of this?
Oh, I could have, if you didn't say that, I could have told that to you. The very first card, as you were talking before you even got started, I pulled cards. So I want to show everybody what's going on here. The first card I pulled is the Seven of Cups, and it's upside down. And this is the card that says, you know, there are so many choices and options around me. I don't know what to do. I'm so afraid of making the wrong choice. I can't see. See, I can't see. And this makes sense because Neptune astrologically tends to conceal things. Okay.
Mm.
It's what's on the other side of the veil, both, you know, spiritually speaking, but also in our lives, the things we can't see. And here it is, opposing little old Virgo down here. Okay. So it's like, I'm kind of jumping blindly here. What if I make the wrong choice? Oh my God. Isn't that how you feel? Okay. So
Exactly. Yeah.
and I pulled this as when I said to Lisa, who's our next caller, I pulled this card. I always do that as you came on. So you hadn't even opened your mouth yet. And we already knew that big choice here. And the second card I pulled was this. Let me read the number. It's a Three of Wands. And again, it's upside down. Those upside down cards talk about you being depressed and anxious and fearful. But the Three of Wands in particular says, you know, my plans that were so exalted and so wonderful, they just haven't worked out. What do I do now? And, you know, do I run home? Do I go high? What do I do now? There's this fear. Okay. And so there's this sense of, do you get this feeling of dreary and down and negativity around you? And you have to be really careful right now that you don't go into the emotional downward slump that every Virgo ever born has a tendency to do when you decide to expand the negativity and really stir the cauldron and decide that life sucks. Please don't do that, okay? You know, we create our world with our thoughts, and when we get wrapped up into life sucks, guess what? Life is going to suck, right? We create our
Right.
with our thoughts, and our emotions power it. It's like the motor on the boat. So if you continue into that, oh my God, I made a bad decision, life really is crappy, you're just going to keep having this crappy life, okay? So
Right.
please
Yeah.
get out of that, okay? Give yourself a good smack and say, nope, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to study, I'm going to make whatever changes I need to make. Now let's look at the astrology a little bit. I have a third card here too, which is really cool, but I want to show you what the astrology says. Here's this Virgo. I thought I had everything I wanted. And Neptune comes in and says, haha, you didn't know about this. Okay. And there's the COVID and getting laid off and all this stuff. And here's the South Node in Sagittarius that says, I traveled to get to where I am. And it was supposed to be so great. And it's like the whole bottom got taken out from under me. You see how sucky this feels? Doesn't it feel nasty, folks? Well,
Yes.
what? Remember, this is a T-square? I'm teaching you astrology. Oh, my guides are. Remember, I told you about when there's a T-square, the energy always comes out in the other side, which is the North Node in Gemini. Guess what? You're going to make money. Second house is money. You're going to do it in some kind of field that talks about communication, or maybe it's working a job that has you moving between two different places. It's a lot of juggling going on. But this is in the future. And you wouldn't be doing it if you weren't forced into, remember up here, the job situation, and have to make the moves and have to expand and have to be flexible. And so you had to get the kick in the pants, and you are supposed to move. The third card I pulled for you is an Ace of Wands. And that is the card that says moving your home. That's its meaning. Moving your home. So, you know, I know this is mean to say, but you don't belong where you are. Okay? So somewhere in the distant future, you're going to be able to look back at this whole time period and say, you know, COVID actually worked out really well for me because I wouldn't have made the change to go where I went and make all this good stuff I've got in my life if I hadn't been forced to do it. Because
Right.
life where you presently are was going to continue to be a struggle.
Okay.
And life where you go will not. Now, I have one thing I want to add to that. You said you're getting rid of all your furniture, you're getting rid of all your stuff. You know, don't do the dangerous thing that a lot of Virgos do. Do not throw out the baby with the bathwater. Now, Virgos get mad at life not working. They beat their chests. They know that everything in life is happening to them, and as a result, they self-destruct and self-destroy by doing the burn ceremony out in the backyard. They get rid of everything, and then hat in hand, they start life all over again. And you don't have to do that. There are a lot of things that you cherish and that you enjoy and that are part of who you really are. Take this time to meditate, Neptune's meditation, meditate on those things and take those parts of you with you where you go. That's important because that's going to be your building blocks, because you see, you don't have nothing. You have a whole lot. And that's what's going to make your future happen the way it's going to happen. This is wonderful. The North Node talks about growth and evolution, and the second house is your finances. Okay?
Yes, thank you so much for the hope. I appreciate it.
Well, it's not hope. It's a done deal. You just have to get your rump moving and make it happen. That's another thing about Virgos. Virgos have to be motivated. A lot of people don't know that about Virgos. Virgos love work. They love work. They love to be needed. The problem is that if things are too easy, they don't get motivated. So life is motivating you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And who's next, Lise?
All right, the next person is going to be Adriana. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, good evening.
What
it's a pleasure.
Name, Adriana. That's, I've heard Adrian. I haven't heard it with the A on the end. Very pretty. I love it. Nice name.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so I have been learning so much about the ascension process, our real spiritual truth, where we come from, where we are here to do, all kind of things related to the mission. But before I actually ended up in this journey, I had a very clear path of what I wanted, which it was to put myself at some point in service, and I took a lot of classes. I actually took the psychic development classes, all of your classes, energy healing, hypnotherapy. It was too much at the time. Not too much. It was perfect amount for what I could take at the time, and it's been a journey of 6 or 7 years altogether. But now this ascension process is making me blind. For some reason, I feel like I had so much more clarity before of what I wanted to do. But now I am so focused on myself that I have been feeling like exhausted, like realizing I have been giving myself too much to my regular human circumstances. But now I have to feed myself, and all of this mission or this power and the desire of helping, it's in pause. It's like, I don't know what is next for me. And it makes me feel a little bit of frustration, because if I had it so clear before, what happened that now I am so blind about it, or I became too selfish to think about serving, and that is not a good thing for what all of what my studies were, and my heart was open to help, and now it's like I'm shutting down. And I don't know what would you say that is what's happening at this point with me. I want to know if I'm meant to do that, or it was just all an illusion, or I'm just need more preparation to be able to offer my service as any other light worker that is here to
Adriana, let's
help.
go back to the beginning. First, we know your name. Where are you calling from?
I'm sorry. Yes, I told you everything. I am calling from Virginia. My sign is Gemini.
Hey,
and I am very grateful for all of my light worker teachers that I have had throughout these years. and for being in this planet. I'm very grateful for it.
And the short answer to your question is that all of those classes, everything that you've taken, good English here, leading up to this moment in time, what is the thing that you can best give, that you know you can give to the world because of who you become as a result of all this work you've done on yourself?
I will say I can be an example to whoever is close to me.
You can.
I have learned that I have to just learn to take it easy, not to put so much weight on my shoulders. Is this word, the big word of mission, it's taking on me at all. Like I feel sometimes like I am a superhero and I have to do so much, and then I kind of don't know why I feel that way. So I have to save the world, and it's just strange combination of desire of helping, but at the same time it's like holding back because I need to do more work. But it's kind of,
I can't answer you if you're talking. I know you're nervous, but give me a moment, okay?
yes.
My guides and I will answer your question. And folks, I know everybody's been patient because you've been kind of really dragging on. Not dragging, I don't want that, that's not a negative connotation, but telling a long story. And I know everybody's waiting for the answer. So I want to give you the answer. And honestly, your answer, Adriana, is being asked by everybody on this call. It's your question is as wrapped around and convoluted and maybe difficult for some people to follow. Your question is the same question everyone on this call has. Okay? It is a major question. It's a question I've asked myself as we've been moving through this shutdown on the planet, more than the illness itself. The shutdown, the lockdown, the not being able to see your friends, not being able to have family gatherings as you used to have, the job shifts and changes, the tendency for people to be short-tempered and inner cities exploding. There's all this craziness going on our planet right now. And those of us who have studied, who are light workers, and folks, everyone on this call, everyone here with me tonight is a light worker. And all of us have been stepping back and saying, oh my God, this, we weren't told about this. We were told to be the best we can be, to study all these wonderful things and to grow and be able to employ all the things we've learned into what we're doing to help other people. But how do I help other people when I'm having difficulty surviving myself? When I have the same fears everyone else has? When I'm as concerned about the wealth and the well-being of my city, my state, my family, my country, the world, as we all are, okay? The answer, I'm going to go back and mention a book. Shirley MacLaine wrote a book all the way back in the 1970s. It was called Out on a Limb. And in that book, she told her own story and her own difficulty and her own feeling of darkness. And she said she finally arrived at a point of understanding that the only thing in life that she truly could change, that could make a big difference in the world, is herself. So you heal yourself. You change yourself. You put yourself in the emotional state of happy, of healthy. No matter how harsh things are outside, we still meditate every day. No matter how difficult it is, you make sure you put a smile on and you say thank you, and you have that little conversation with the girl at the checkout counter. Is it making sense? You're going to help the world by helping yourself first, and then by extending that feeling of goodwill that you created by being good to yourself out to the world around you. You can only change the world one person at a time, and it must start with you. So what are you doing for yourself right now that's making you feel good, that's giving you a sense of hope, that's letting you know that, well, right now things might be a little bit difficult, but in a month, in 2 months, next year, the sun's coming out tomorrow. The sun's coming out, joy's coming into your world and to the planet. What are you doing to bring that into your life?
I am learning how to slow down. I'm learning how to peacefully watch a movie without being concerned about how many emails I'm getting at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm learning. I'm starting to do things that I lost in periods of difficulty. I'm reaching out to pencils and brushes. I used to love painting, so I gotta go back there and connect. I used to sing and I haven't done it, so I feel like it's time to go back and rescue me.
Yes, 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 yes. And this goes back to our last caller who I said, don't throw out all that stuff. Find yourself in that stuff. And the things and the people and the things you used to do, the things that bring you joy and brought you joy in the past, those things bring into yourself now because they're part of who you are. And they help you to find yourself again. Just so that you feel better, I think that everyone in our world has kind of had a shock. And to some degree, everyone has lost themselves. Some people who've lost jobs and identified with the job say, who am I now? Some people who have been ripped away from their family at a bad time. Well, what do I do now? Who am I now? You know, at the core root of everything that's shifted because of the shutdown that's gone on worldwide, the core of that is that we've got a mass of population around the world who's stepping back and saying, somewhere along the line, I lost myself. I attached myself to all these other things out there that really weren't me. So let's use this lockdown. Let's use COVID-19 as a way of getting in touch with ourselves, and then having found ourselves, reaching out and holding the hand of everybody we meet with a smile. And there's how you can help other people, just by being who you are and sharing that gift of your personal presence in that wonderful, joyous state. Be the higher vibration person that you've worked so hard and studied so hard to become. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the way that you mentioned smiling at the cashier, because that's one of the things I do on purpose, just to make them feel good, that they matter.
Yeah.
I care about how many more hours do you have. I can't, I bet that you're looking forward to get a good night's sleep, and keep it up. I always talk to random people about make them aware that they matter. That's one of my exercises.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but thank you. Yes, this makes a lot of.
Question.
It's more, yeah, it's more like confirmation of what my heart has been telling me, and I trust you dearly, because you have been a very good teacher to me for a long time.
And thank you so much. And always remember, trust yourself and your own intuition first. That's the most important thing. Folks, I want to thank everyone for being on with me this evening. Thank you, Lisa, for doing such a wonderful job in the chat room, as always. And folks, remember, next Psychic Hour, November 1st, wear your Halloween costume. We're going to celebrate. Good night. Have a wonderful month.